Hi, everybody. So, I want to talk to you today about this book that I'm reading. It's a #1 best-selling book by President Joe Biden. It's called A Year of Hope, Hardship, and Purpose. Promise Me, Dad. This is chapter 2. Chapter 2 is called Have a Purpose. So, this chapter begins by, I'm just going to, I went through and underlined a few things in this chapter, and I'm going to read those to you directly out of the book so you can kind of understand what this chapter is about. So the chapter is called Have a Purpose. It starts off by saying, when Beau first saw the scans that showed a lesion on his brain in the summer of 2013, part of his reaction was relief. He finally had an explanation for what had been happening to him. So Beau, in 2013, found a lesion on his brain through a scan that he had at the doctor. It says for a few years after that, Beau was fine, but then he started to get these strange feelings of dizziness on some of his longer runs. He was obviously into jogging and running and exercising, and he started to feel like really dizzy, and these unusual things started to happen. They said they saw a tumor on a scan in Chicago. After Beau he started to have these stroke-like episodes while he was on vacation with Hunter and their families. One of the possibilities that they thought was it would be something called glioblastoma. So they all started to look up and research glioblastoma. They were trying to figure out the best place, best hospital, best doctor to go to. And they talked to a doctor. Howard and Kevin O'Connor, and they asked them where would be the best place to go. And they answered by saying, if it's the monster, it doesn't matter where they go. And so that really caused Jill to be really distraught, she burst into tears. Beau was in great health, according to what Joe Biden is saying here, President Biden. So they did another scan here. They found out the newest scan at MD Anderson showed a big gray mass in his left temporal lobe, which meant it was likely threaded through areas in the brain that controlled his speech, cognition, and movement. They finally, end up settling in. Beau was getting settled into the operating room. The rest of us were escorted to the conference room the hospital's patient affairs staff had kindly set aside for us. It says, we had drawn to MD Anderson by the reputation of Dr. Raymond Sawaya, a neurosurgeon who was regarded as among the best in the world at a procedure called awake craniotomy. The operation allowed the surgeon to remove the greatest part of the brain tumor without doing damage to speech, cognition, or motor skills. The patient was actually conscious through most of the surgery, naming simple objects on flashcards or in a casual conversation with the anesthesiologist, while Dr. Sawaya probed the outlines of the tumor with tiny electrodes. If Beau suddenly couldn't identify a picture of an elephant or a car, felt a loss of strength, or couldn't talk at all, Sawaya knew he could not cut in that spot without doing serious damage. So the lab results, they realized that if the lab results confirm glioblastoma, he would also work to remove as much as he possibly could. Sawaya had more than 70 long-term survivors among the patients he had treated in the previous 30 years. And what separated those survivors from the rest was the amount of tumor removed in the initial surgery. When Dr. Sawaya got 98% or more of the tumor, there was a much better chance for the patient to beat the odds. Anything less made a difficult battle that was much harder. The final test results came in. The lab results, Dr. Sawaya explained, confirmed the medical team's expectations. Beau's tumor was definitely a glioblastoma and it was in stage 4. So after the surgery, Dr. Young was talking to their family. He tells them that they're going to lay out an aggressive treatment plan, and he says that he thinks Beau can handle it because he says you're young and you're healthy. Those are good prognostic factors. He says, but But the honest, you're going to be in for a tough fight. You have a long battle in front of you. Joe Biden says, we had all looked up the standard prognosis for our glioblastoma by then. The tumor usually recurred within 6 or 7 months of surgery, and the median lifespan after the initial diagnosis was 12 to 14 months. Maybe 2 in 100 got to long-term tumor remission. But that means some people do beat it, we told ourselves. So why not Beau? He talks about how Beau is determined to beat it. Beau is determined to make the fight. Odds be damned. Don't let anybody tell me what the percentages are, he told Hunt and me. Okay? I'm going to beat this, goddammit. We're going to beat this. I don't want to hear anything about percentages. So before Beau left, they were talking to doctors Sawaya, and they were asking, like, how should Beau be? Like, how should he, like, act towards this? And he said Beau should be positive and hopeful. He should go home and do whatever he was going to do before the diagnosis. I told him Beau had been planning to run for governor of Delaware. Then tell him to go home and run for governor, he said. He should live like he's going to live. I wanted the entire family to hear that, so I gathered everybody in the little hallway outside Beau's room, and Dr. Young explained again that while this would be a difficult fight, there was hope. He should go home and live life and run for governor, have a purpose. So that was something that Joe Biden said he had to continue in his own life too. Was like, he says, no matter what came at me, I held fast to my own sense of purpose, and I didn't want to let people down that were depending on me, including the Obama administration, my family, myself, or most important, Beau. So once again, this was chapter 2 of Joe Biden's book. His son, Beau, gets diagnosed with glioblastoma, and they're looking at how they're going to move forward from this point. So once again, this book is called Joe Biden, A Year of Hope, Hardship, and Purpose. Promise me, Dad. If you like the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and message. Peace.